It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today, I've got my man Wolfpack Crypto. I know him as Laszlo. What's going on, bro? How are you?
How you doing, Crypto Blood?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. Good to have you on. We tried to have an interview before, a year and some change ago. It was a great conversation. But you had some issues with the software, man, and it didn't record or something. That was crazy, right?
I mean, I was new to YouTube and recording, and this was a while ago. This was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not even sure.
Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, we had a great interview. We were talking about how the bull market was going to start off, and this was like 2017. And I didn't even record the entire interview. It was like an hour long.
I was like, But anyway, man, you reached out to me. You wanted to come on and talk about this whole Bitfinex thing, Tether situation. I'm like, yeah, let's do it, man. Let's set up a Kicking It session and let's get into it. I have my thoughts and theories about it, and of course, you have yours. So I want to definitely hear, and my audience would love to hear, what you think about what's going on with Bitfinex. But first, tell the audience a little bit about you, man, and your background. You've got some experience in trading as well, and you're not a newcomer to crypto either. So that's why I like talking to guys that have experience in this game and also in other financial markets.
Right. So the first time I heard about Bitcoin was back in 2010, I believe. And back then I was already listening to Peter Schiff, and he convinced me, right, to not buy Bitcoin. And I've known about Bitcoin since back then, since 2010, since it was like around $3, somewhere down there. And I came back into this space around 2016 because I saw Bitcoin was heading up towards the equivalent price of gold. Because I was trading back in 2016, 15, and all that on the equity side of things. I was trading gold and stocks and whatnot, and I've been trading for about 6-7 years. And someone brought up Ethereum in one of the chat groups, in the trading chat group, and then I started getting back into crypto. And then, of course, rest is history. 2017 was crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely was. But before we get on the topic of Bitfinex, you brought up Peter Schiff. I love the guy. I mean, I listen to Peter like every day. Whenever he drops a podcast, I listen. I don't know why. I just do. He's smart. He really is smart. Like,
no, he's got to be like top 5 economists in the world.
Seriously, like for real. But why is he so thick-headed and stubborn about Bitcoin, man? I just...
Well, he just had a debate. I didn't listen to it because I already know what he's going to say. But there's one thing he never talks about. Well, there's 2 things he never talks about, which if I ever debated him, I would, bring it up. Well, what about the decentralized aspect of it, which takes away the power, right, from the current system? And what about the fact that it's cross-border transactions that are quick, right? And they can be anonymous. He never talks about those aspects of Bitcoin and cryptos. And it's either he doesn't understand it or...
No, he understands it, bro.
Yeah.
No, he's too smart. I went through that thing in my head too. Like, is he just not is he not tech savvy enough? Or no, he understands it. He's stubborn, man. He's stubborn.
Well, he obviously has some bias. He might be afraid that it'll take a lot of gold and silver as thunder. I don't know why. There's going to be plenty of money going around. I mean, I think both assets are going to go up together.
Yeah, but marginally, gold, I don't think will. And we've already seen Bitcoin has clearly outperformed gold, and I think in the future will continue, especially if we have, like, people forget we've seen Bitcoin's growth in a non-economic sovereign crisis environment. Remember, Bitcoin kind of came out of 08, 09, you know what I mean? So we haven't even seen what this beast will act like in a 09, 08 scenario.
Well, back in 2011 with the Cyprus, the banks
I
going
remember that.
under, right? And they were seizing the banks, they were seizing people's funds and bank accounts.
It had to
Uh,
be
I
later than 11 because I was in Bitcoin at that point. So it had to be like 13. I think it was like 13 because Bitcoin
wasn't,
shot up. Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember anymore. But anyways, that Bitcoin did shoot up then, and
It
so
did.
did it, and it did a little bit with Greece as well.
Mm-hmm. A
So,
little bit, yeah.
and that's my biggest argument for the long term. Even if the stock market crashes or whatever, short term we might get a dip in Bitcoin because it'll be a risk off scenario. Everyone might run the cash, but then right after, it's gonna take off because of just like we saw actually in the beginning of 2017. I think one of the biggest catalysts for the rise of Bitcoin's price and the crypto boom was capital flight out of China.
Mm.
And you're going to see capital just moving all around the world, people trying to hide their wealth, trying to transfer it out of certain countries to other countries. Because when you have huge financial crises, a lot of these countries are going to do, tyrannical things, like in China.
I
And
agree with you wholeheartedly that will be the initial move. Probably you'll see a slight. Well, it just depends on the mixture of kind of what is the catalyst for the next financial crisis, right? If it hits the consumer like directly first, like if we see a consumer really like ground level recession, then I think you may see people in the market that in the crypto market already start to sell a little bit, because they may need funds or whatever.
right.
If the banking financial system kind of collapse like 09, 08, you may see a slight liquidation if there's enough institutional money in Bitcoin. But yeah, I agree. I think you may see at least if not a pullback, just nothing really happen. And then slowly you're going to see it just explode.
Listen, either way, I know for a fact Bitcoin and cryptos are going to go up. And so are metals, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they're going to go back to QE. Trump's already been tweeting about it, right?
Yep.
And they have to keep the music playing because if they don't, and it's the easiest route for central banks and governments is to just keep printing. Because if they let if they let the system correct naturally, they let the free market finally wash out all the bad debts. I mean, literally,
The blame will be put on them. That's why
well,
it'll
not,
never happen.
governments will lose power because all the pensions are wrapped up in the stock market.
Yeah, CalPERS is in trouble, man.
Oh, they
Oh
all
my
are.
God, I was watching
And
a guy that he actually won over $80 million in total from New Jersey and I think California. He uncovered like he's a whistleblower. Not well, he's like a financial forensics guy, and he uncovered all this mess with these pension plans and was awarded by the SEC in two different cases, like one for 35 million and then another for like 40 million. But he said I heard him on what shows I watch Peak Prosperity. Chris Martinson.
yeah, I watch them too.
Yeah, he was on there and he was just like, man, it's a mess. It is a mess with the pensions around
Well,
the
what the
country.
states do is, in politics, they have friends who
Mm-hmm.
also own businesses. Then they take these pension funds and then they invest them in local businesses, and then they buy stocks for these. But it's a whole. It's not different from crypto. And
Nope.
talking about Bitfinex is no different from J.P. Morgan.
Nope, it's
It's
not.
just that it's crypto and everyone's acting like it's fraudulent. This is what happens every day with stock markets. Just no one, they just make it legal because they're all in it together with the regulators and the government. So that's where all the tax revenue comes from, guys.
I was thinking about this morning, and we're going to get specifically on the topic of Tether and Bitfinex in a second, but I was shaking my head this morning like, it's not the financial structure that has been created, like in the traditional markets, is not that. It's humans that's the problem. We're the problem. Because if you look at like Binance, right, their latest hack,
Yeah.
40
I
something
do
million.
I do want to talk about that
Yeah.
because some news just came out that really, really ticks me off.
Yeah, is it about the rollback? He was.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
this is what I'm saying. For him to even consider it, it just lets
yeah.
you know, man. Like it's just human nature to want to just control things, and
No,
we
it is. Absolutely.
and
That's
that
why all these Ivy League pseudo intellectual people who go to Harvard and all that, the smarter you are, and when you go to these elitist
you
universities, and
become
then
more
these are the people,
indoctrinated.
well, not just indoctrinated, you think you are smarter than everyone else.
Yeah,
So therefore, you want to control and make the decisions
right, right.
for humanity and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how nature works. It's not how free markets work. Because nature is free markets.
I call it the preacher complex. You know, the pastor always thinks he's the man of God, and God talks to him, then he'll he'll explain to everyone else in the congregation what's really going on. Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
agree. I agree, man. That's crazy. So I think just to touch really quickly before we get on to the Bitfinex and then Binance situation, my argument for your buddy would be, and I'm talking about, I'm drawing a blank here, Peter Schiff.
Oh
My
yeah.
argument for him would be, I know how many Bitcoins there are. There are 21 million, right? I don't know how much gold there is underground. Like above ground, we kind of have a good estimation or get figure on that. But below ground, we don't know how much gold is in the earth crust.
Oh, well, there's a lot. The problem is it costs a lot of money to mine it. So all of the gold that's on the surface that's easily mined,
Mm-hmm.
it has already been mined because it costs it costs a lot of energy, oil and drilling and machines and man labor. That's what gives the price of gold. Well, that's what gives gold the price.
Sure.
Is all of the energy and resources and labor and everything that goes into extracting it out of the ground.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. That is part of the pricing, and but my thing is, man, we still don't like. What if we come up with new technology that is able to locate it better? You get what I'm saying? Like, there's always that.
Right.
But with Bitcoin, I mean, it's 21 million. It's 21 million. Like, there aren't any more out there to be had, and so I think that's why you'll see flight to safety will be Bitcoin in the future, man, with any
Right,
crisis
right.
that comes up. So
I do worry about supercomputers in the future, but I think that's still decades off or maybe a decade.
so you're talking about quantum computing and them
Yeah,
being
I
able
don't
to
know too
solve.
much about it. And I heard that there's ways to make sure that quantum computers can't, decode, figure out people's keys or
Yeah,
whatever.
so the misconception is that quantum computers with qubits and stuff, it's faster, but in the way of solving these types of numbers to actually solve a block, it's not as efficient as people think. So
Right.
from what I understand, the elliptical curve that's used, the algorithm that's used in Bitcoins, SHA-256, whatever, is not isn't done in a way where we should be fine. And then I also heard, I did some research about this a couple of years ago, that there's a way to safeguard Bitcoin against that. The problem with that is, at what point do we hit critical mass with Bitcoin, and there's the point of no return, meaning we can't update any further. You know,
Right.
so I don't know. That's an interesting topic. But let's talk about this Bitfinex, man, and Tether. Man, you sent me an article. I'll link this in the description of this video, guys. It's out of Reddit, and it says here, Bitfinex banning users for trying to withdraw fiat and banning users for asking if fiat withdrawals are working. Let's talk about this.
Right. Well, for one, I just want to point out that on Bitfinex right now, the price, there's a premium of around $300 to $400, which is
Okay,
insane.
we've seen this before, people. This happened back in 2013 when I was an early lad in this crypto game. I was using the only exchange that there was, and that was Mt. Gox. And of course, when they started having issues, there started to be that Mt. Gox premium, they called it. It was about $300-$400 premium. But in percentage wise, I think that it constituted a little bit more because Bitcoin was maybe at $900 at that time, $800. So this is a little bit more percentage wise than it is today. But yeah, that somewhat could be alarming. Definitely could be alarming.
Just 1 second. Have you heard the leak video from the Bitfinex CEO talking about pumping the price of
No,
Bitcoin?
no.
You haven't heard that?
Mm-mm.
All right, I just brought it up.
Okay, cool.
We could listen to it. So there's a huge premium, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we saw that was with Mt. Gox, and it's basically because it's sort of like a run on the banks.
Yes.
And there's a premium because people are selling their altcoins and then buying Bitcoin, and then they're buying Bitcoin at any price just to get it off of the exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's scary about this premium. And this is also helping to pump the price right now.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just FOMO. It's actually people trying to get off of the Bitfinex exchange. Also, the white paper just came out that they're trying to raise $1 billion.
Yeah,
right?
the IEO. Yeah.
The IEO, which is ironic. Horrible timing.
It
Horrible.
is. They've been planning for a while, but it is horrible timing. It's horrible timing.
Yeah, they're missing 850 million, but we're gonna raise 100 billion right now, real quick, guys. Everyone.
Bitfinex. And in this recording, Phil Potter, Chief Strategic Officer for Bitfinex, is in on the conversation.
He's the CTO. So, guys, we're gonna check out this link that Wolfpack sent us of the CTO. I don't know if he's being secretly recorded or what. He's talking about Bitfinex, and you won't believe what he's talking about here about Bitcoin manipulation.
Let's pull this fire.
I will sacrifice
are we gonna burn it or are we gonna save it?
That is going to remain the best coin.
Vista can say, "Show me your money" a few more times.
I'm tired of trading shit coins. I want to see some real thing here. Okay, let's just do this. It is not hard. It doesn't take rocket scientists. It doesn't take academic thinking to move a fucking price upwards. Start thinking like me, okay? Start thinking like me and just do what I say. Move the price upward. Sell it tomorrow to somebody else that wants to buy higher.
Oh my God.
And tell them to move the price upward, and let's do this, globally. Clockwise, time zone after time zone after time zone, and then we do the same thing tomorrow, just do the game of telephone. First Dickens said we're going up, so we're going up. And if we're not going up, it's your fault, not my fault.
I love it.
That's the nail in the coffin.
So that's interesting. I mean, I guess that could definitely work. I know for sure there's manipulation in the crypto game for sure, man. It's without a doubt. I mean, you just look at price activity, price action. I mean, you've been looking at charts probably as long as me, and this price action, for the last 6 months has been very suspicious.
Well, you know how everyone complains about manipulation when the price dumps?
Yeah.
The funny thing is the manipulation has only been to the upside.
Yeah, especially if Tether's involved.
Right before we dropped below 6,000, we kept getting those pumps. Well, those are somewhat normal. I mean, it's not that, but they were using Tether, I think, to push up the price, and it's in their best interest to push up the price so they make money off of their exchanges.
Right.
And you just heard it. They were literally talking about doing it with Tether. I can literally look at the volume. Most of the volume in the market during this bear market has been through Tether. It hasn't been through fiat, coming in. And there you go. Now, I'm not for regulation or anything. And everyone eventually will move off of Bitfinex if they keep doing this, right? And the manipulation, it never lasts long term. Manipulation, manipulation only works short term because, you know, experienced traders, they know manipulation when they see it, and then they trade against it, and then the manipulator eventually loses money. But yeah, I mean, it does create some massive pumps, sometimes massive dumps. They will, and I'm up late nights looking at the charts. When the volume drops around 3 a.m., that's when you get these huge pumps and dumps because there's no buying or selling volume. So it doesn't take much.
That order book is thin as hell. It'll just run right through it.
No, literally, there's no one trading. There's all you have to do is just leverage up maybe a couple $1,000,000, and then boom, you'll run every stop down the order.
But honestly, there's no one trading during the period in crypto and Bitcoin like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, you just look at price action, you can tell it's these flat lines, and and then a pop, a flat line, drop. The whole Bart Simpson type moves.
Right.
That's not reminiscent of good liquidity in the market.
No, it's not very organic.
No.
But it's a small market. I mean, the entire total market cap's still under 200 billion. That's nothing. Amazon and Apple is like 100 times larger than the entire market.
Yeah.
So it's not normal, but at the same time, it's expected.
Okay.
Now, this recent rally we've had in the past few months, I am very suspicious of this. Before we could go back into a bull market, I need a massive pullback or correction. And that takes us back to Bitfinex. Now, I don't think the Attorney General of New York could go after them. I mean, they're based out of Hong Kong. What are they going to do? They might ban them out of New York, or
they are. No, that's the thing. So I was telling you, if they're not even here, so it's really nothing they can do. They were forced to drop U.S. traders or customers a year and a half ago.
Right.
So you can't even sign up in the U.S. anyway. This is just a posturing.
The only thing they could do is go after the U.S. citizens who are running Bitfinex and Tether and try to arrest them.
Yeah.
That's about it. But to take down the entire operation, they can't because they have no jurisdiction. But, there is I'm worried about Bitfinex just not having the actual money to back up everything on their exchange and Tether. Personally, my bias is I would love for Bitfinex to go down because, one, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Two, I could buy the dip. I could load up on cheaper Bitcoin and altcoins. And I'm expecting and three, it would put in the bottom to the market. If we get a huge spike down, even sub 3,000 for a week or two, that'd be the perfect bottoming pattern.
No, I agree. We never saw the capitulation moment. I personally don't think 3K. I think 3K is the floor. But if we see from these levels that we're almost at 6,000, it's a 50% drop from here to 3,000. So I can, a capitulation moment.
I am at 50% that 3,000, it was the bottom. But if Bitfinex goes down and some more regulations come out or whatever, it's a lot of FUD, right? And we go sub 3,000, we will go sub 3,000 for a very short period of time. I doubt we'll ever go sub 2,500. So that would be the perfect, and it'll give you that V bottom reversal.
Yeah.
Not just that, if we keep rallying from here, we start going above 8,000. We will get another little FOMO rally. We might go to 10,000, but the correction after that is going to be huge, and it's actually going to make the bear market last longer. So I really want a pullback and correction now.
Get the pain over with now, right?
Yeah, right. It just wash out these moon boys already, because we never really felt. I've been through bear markets, all right? So have you. Does it feel like, we fully capitulated? That drop from 3,000, it was bad, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? I've also done a bunch of charting, and the moving averages, we're about to get a huge negative crossover on the 3-day chart. with the 54
question,
MA.
Laszlo. I don't use moving average MAs, but what happened with the Golden Cross? Did that fully play out, or did it just pump fake?
Well, it's already priced into the market, into Bitcoin price. That Golden Cross everyone was freaking out about.
Did it actually happen though? Do you know?
Yeah, the 50 crossed the 200,
Mm-hmm.
and then the price has been going up for the past few weeks. But every other indicator I have, besides the TD sequential that Tone uses, that everyone uses now, so it might not work.
It's not going to work. If everyone uses it, it's not going to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, people don't get it. Like,
No,
the
they don't.
Yeah. So it's all overbought. And but here's the thing, my time analysis tells me by the end of July, the bottom should be in. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. Now, there is some good reason to FOMO. I'm not going to lie. We have Fidelity. We have Bakkt coming online in a few weeks. We have TD Ameritrade. I mean, institutional money is going to be coming in about a few months from now, which coincides perfectly with my time analysis. And I mean, these are separate videos on their own, and I made them on my channel.
Okay.
But we still need a correction. We need a pullback, a decent sized pullback, because to put in a bottom, you need consolidation. You can't just, bottom out a little bit and then just start running up and away.
You normally test it a couple of times, right? So,
right.
We hit what, 3,300, 32 was the low? What was it?
All right, so you guys see this chart? This is my time analysis chart. This indicator, this is my indicator.
Okay.
And you see those consolidation right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the price rallied, right? See this consolidation right here and the price dumped? Well, every time there's consolidation, the price will rally or dump. Now, my time analysis right here, you see this vertical line, it's July. So you see back here, this is the previous bear market, and this is how all bear markets end. There's a decent time. There's at least 6 months, something like that, 4 months at least, of just price kind of trading side. Yeah, yep. Just a time of boringness, yep. Just nothing. Because when it's boring and nothing's happening, that's when people stop selling.
Right.
And people just sit and wait, and then they just kind of forget about it. They're like, well, I'm just going to hold and wait. People stop. There's less emotions in markets that are boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when all of the sellers are gone, and the buyers eventually come back when there's a huge catalyst for the price to move back up.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, right. Mm-hmm. Like the 2017, beginning of that huge run-up was China capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum.
ETF talk, all that.
Yeah, ICOs, Ethereum. And then the Bitcoin fork, the upgrade, the SegWit upgrade. These were all catalysts, and the halvening,
Mm-hmm.
These were all catalysts that ended the bear market. And then this bear market, it lasted a long time, guys. So we have the dump right here. It lasted about 300 days, almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
So this current, from the dump of 6,000.
We're what, 6-7 months in? Where are we?
We're about
6 months in, something like that.
We're about 161 days.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting at least 4 to 6 more months of just more consolidation before the price could wind up like a spring, and then we finally go up into a bull market. What I'm scared of is the price continues to rally higher, and then we run out of buyers around 10,000, and then we're going to have a huge dump. And if we do that, then it's kind of like the consolidation, the spring unwound halfway, and then it's we're not going to see a new all-time high for like another 2 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not want that to happen. I'd rather have a nice consolidation pullback, and we create a giant cup and handle,
mm-hmm.
and then we go into a bull market towards the end of this year, the beginning of next year, which coincides perfectly with, guess what, the stock market. Because next year, they're going to do QE. at some point.
But if you look at this chart, you see the drop that we have from 6K.
Yeah.
And then you see how it's trying to. That looks artificial to me.
Oh, you see this candle right here?
That one right there.
Yeah, I was watching that. I caught.
That's not real price movement.
This was a whale pumping the price. If you guys remember, it went up $900 within like 40 minutes. Yep. And ever since then, I kept calling you. I kept saying, guys, this is going to be a giant bull trap because this is manipulation. And manipulation is always short term or intermediate term, and then the price will revert back to the mean.
Correct.
And I still believe this is a giant bull trap.
If you zoom out again, you'll see like on all of these other down on the leg down from 20,000, they don't look like what you see here. See, I look at like the actual shape of these moves. So this move here, it's like it's doing this and it's coming down. Then you have a break. That was a real break, but it should have continued downward.
Right.
Instead of that 900 point move, that one candle.
See this chart right here? First of all, this is really important. You guys need to understand. Novogratz and all these hedge funds, they were accumulating up around 6,000 to 6,400, right?
Mm-hmm.
See this line right here? Huge resistance. A lot of people are going to want to break even up around this point.
Yeah, in my mind, I've got 6K. Yeah, somewhere around there. Same thing. 6K, 6,400. Same area.
Up in this range. We're like $400 away.
Yep.
There's going to be hedge funds and all sorts of people trying to break even up here. And we're going to run out of buyers eventually. This entire move is very long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Very, very long. This is a weekly chart, by the way.
Okay.
We've been rallying for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 weeks rallying straight up.
You see these small candles and it's just up. That's manipulation. That's not a normal price behavior here. Right here, tick, all that. To me,
right,
just from years of looking at charts, if you zoom back out, you'll see what I mean. Like this is normal. Like these waves up and down. Look, they look like cosine waves. They look like, you know what I mean? This stuff right here is manipulation.
This also looks like steps. Just giant steps.
That's manipulation in my book.
Right. And you know that saying, right? You take the stairs up and you take the elevator back down for a reason. All right, you see these moving averages on the weekly? Huge deal. No other trader talks about these huge moving averages on the weekly. This is going to be a huge bearish cross, like a death cross. This is the 54 weekly moving average and the 128 weekly moving average. They're about to cross very soon in the next few weeks. So I'm expecting we just need a correction.
We just need it, yeah.
We need it. It's healthy. It's normal.
It is healthy.
Look at the RSI. Look how crazy this is.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, well, you can't look at the RSI all the time. It's not always accurate. I don't care. It's more accurate on the weekly and monthly on these huge time frames.
Yeah.
And look, we've never had the RSI this overextended for this long ever.
It's flatline. It's just up there. It's just stuck at the top.
Right.
That is crazy.
What do you think's going to happen when that thing comes back down? Okay, this is the momentum oscillator, this orange line on the bottom here. This thing's been this has been overextended for a very long time too.
Mm-hmm.
All my oscillators are overextended. The MACD, the TM squeeze, that has to correct to the downside again as well. The OBV as well. And so is the NVT. The NVT is from Willy Woo.
Okay. And
that has to do with hash rate and transactions and volume moving around. That is also signaling a correction, a huge correction coming, even though Willy Woo's very bullish. But even he said we need a pullback at least to 4,000. Now, everyone's kind of expecting a pullback to 4,000. So as a contrarian, I'm like, we'll see when we get there, right?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I don't know. I just think 3K it's a floor. I called it last year, in the middle of last year when it looked like we would never stop dropping, and people were calling for 1,500 and all this crazy stuff. So we'll see what happens, though, man. The last topic, though, I want to get back to is Binance and what upset me. And I'm going to be talking about this on the next My Two Satoshis video. That's pretty disturbing, and it really actually brings up some very concerning questions in my book about the centralization of Bitcoin, where you can have one guy say, we thought about it. I brought a couple of people together and, talked about doing a rollback.
I'm really mad for the fact that CZ even entertained the fact that he even thought, like, you saw that video, the CZ video, he entertained the fact, but he admitted that this would be very negative for the Bitcoin ecosystem and its credibility. Well, you would be rolling it. That's basically a 51% attack. It
is a 51. Yeah.
And it's what Vitalik did with Ethereum.
And is.
It's pretty much forking Bitcoin for what? $40 million is nothing.
It scares me that a person even has the ability to consider that. That just lets you know that it's not decentralized yet, or it's not. It used to be more decentralized, or I don't know which way it was, but
so what CZ said, either he's an idiot or he doesn't care, and he doesn't care if Bitcoin becomes centralized. And the Bitcoin developer who brought it up on Twitter, I mean, he's a Silicon Valley leftist. Of course, they want to centralize everything. But I am worried about Bitcoin being hijacked over time, especially with institutional money, because with institutional money coming in and institutionalizing cryptos, you guys have to understand there's taxes, so there's absolutely no anonymity. Mm-hmm. There's regulations, so there is control over it. And people are like, yeah, but it's unconfiscatable. Not when they come to your house with guns.
Yeah.
So people need to. I'm just worried about people selling out and not caring about
it's already happening, though.
I know, but you guys need to understand. Once the decentralized aspect of Bitcoin is gone, then the value proposition is gone. There's no point.
I can't even support it. I can't even be. I'm gonna have to change my name to FX Blood or something. I don't know. Like, it's done. But today, me seeing that, has me, I'm questioning what's really going on here, because I'm assuming, CZ doesn't have directly the hashing power, but he's over in Asia and he's got connects and stuff. He knows all the miners. I know it's all centralized, like the mining power, the hash rate power is centralized in China. So I'm sure he knows all the people.
He said that he talked to what's his name from Bitmain.
Jihan Wu.
Yeah, Jihan Wu, and apparently he said no, that's a bad idea, which is ironic, right? But
But just to be able to go to someone and ask him, hey, can let's roll back, like, it's centralized, man. We're at the point of centralization, and something has to change.
It
has to change.
Well, CZ obviously has too much power now. I mean, especially if Bitfinex goes down. The miners do as well. And I've thought about, like, scenarios. If they really wanted, let's say if governments wanted to take down Bitcoin, you just have to go to these major miners and all the major exchanges, and there you go. Of course, you won't destroy it. You can't
destroy it. No.
But you could damage it to the point where it goes back to $5 a coin or something.
Yes, and then it'd have to organically build from the block that before the fork, and everyone has kind of comes up with a consensus on that fork. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I'm very concerned about that, and actually, that's the biggest negative news I've heard in years, bro. Years. Yeah, that is crazy.
I don't think people realize how horrible just the fact that they even entertain the fact. And I can't wait to hear some of these other Bitcoin maximalists to see what they say. I swear, if they support this or even entertain the fact, then the maximalists do not give a shit about decentralization than Blockstream and all of them who kept, saying decentralized. No, they just want Bitcoin to go up.
Yep, they just want the money.
They just want to get rich.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're just mad and envious because they were too dumb to throw a little bit of money in Ethereum and the altcoins to speculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bitcoin maximalists. That's what they really are. They're just everyone's just out for what you said earlier. It's human flaw.
It's human. It's us.
It's
man.
greed. This is just straight
problem.
up. We are the problem.
but that's what Bitcoin was here. This came into fruition so that we had some checks and balances, or at least I thought. But it doesn't look like that's happening, man.
Well, I mean, the way Bitcoin has grown in the past decade was decentralized, and I don't know if that could even be replicated ever again. Or I don't know, right? But
I don't know either. I don't think so. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think so either.
Right.
Because it kind of came out of surprise. It came out of left field.
Right. Nobody took it seriously for so long.
Right.
It organically grew.
Yeah. So we won't get another. I'm not gonna take a crypto seriously.
But the biggest flaw with Bitcoin is the fact that it costs so much to mine them. The difficulty, right? And that's how it's
centralization.
Right. It causes centralization. And that's unfortunate. I hope the Lightning Network, well, that's for transaction scalability. But
yeah,
I don't know. Someone needs to figure out so everyone can mine. The mining needs to become more decentralized because,
And maybe that's the inherent flaw with Bitcoin. That's its Achilles heel.
It's crazy we're talking about this because we could get so much shit from the trolls.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care, bro.
Yeah,
I'm from Detroit, bro. Like, we got bigger problems out here, bro. You come to my city and troll, we'll talk then. Yeah, I don't care, man. I don't even care. But it's true though. Like, we're talking real stuff here. Like, is that Bitcoin's Achilles heel? The fact that the difficulty has to increase, and that therefore causes more centralization.
And let's just face it, with more, okay, so if we go into another bull market, institutional money comes in, these people that are going to, right, and the people that are going to come into this market, I mean, they're not going to know anything about decentralized. Nobody cares. They just want to get rich.
They just want to get rich.
Everyone just wants to get, it's a rich, quick, everyone just wants to get rich quick, and they don't get it, though. If you become rich, you become a target.
Right.
And they're going to steal your money. And if there's no centralization, you're going to get taxed like 90%. There's no point of being rich if you're not free.
Right.
And it's like these rich people don't get it. Actually, they do. Once they get rich, then they understand. Then they're always on the run. Mm-hmm. That's why they're like moving from one country to another, and they don't get it. Bitcoin's a revolution for freedom.
Yes.
Decentralization is about freedom. There's no point of getting rich if you're not free.
Yep.
Because you're actually a bigger target once you become rich.
Yep. I agree, man. Like you said, if there's a central point where a person can be squeezed to do a 51% attack, we're in trouble, and it looks like we're at that point because the government could squeeze Jihan Wu or Jihan Wu and really change things. Like I don't know, man. That's a conversation to have in the future, and we'll continue it. But man, I appreciate you coming on, Wolfpack. Let the audience kind of know where they can find you. You also have a free Telegram trading room as well. Tell us all about that, please.
Right. Just search Wolfpack Cryptos on YouTube, and you'll find my videos, my YouTube channel, and all the links are in the description below my YouTube videos. Or you could go to wolfpackcryptos.io.
There you have it, people. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and thanks for checking in with this Kicking It session with Wolfpack Crypto. We out of here, people. Holla. I'm the star, this is my move.